Hello students, I welcome back you all to this class of mathematics, and we are discussing class 12 syllabus of mathematics. We are continuing with chapter 4 determinants, and today we have to do adjoint of a matrix. Adjoint of a square matrix A is the transpose of the cofactor matrix Aij, where that means कि if we have a matrix A which is a 3 by 3 square matrix, we obtain cofactor matrix of the given matrix. How do we obtain the cofactor matrix of the given matrix? We replace every element by its cofactor. We have already learned in my previous video, I have explained you how to find the cofactor of every element. So you can see the link of that video in description box, and you can learn how to find the cofactor of every element. So we have found cofactors of all elements. We replaced every element by its cofactor. A11 replaced by a cofactor of A11, A12 replaced by a cofactor of A12, and so on. So this matrix obtained is called cofactor matrix of matrix A. So now we have to find adjoint of the matrix A. Adjoint of the matrix A is nothing but transpose of the cofactor matrix. So you can see if I take the transpose of this cofactor matrix, I will get adjoint of matrix A. Adjoint of a matrix A is denoted by, is written as this, Adj dot A, means adjoint of the matrix A. So now I write the transpose of this matrix. So how do I write its transpose? I read the row and write it in a column. So A11, A12, A13, A21, 22, 23, A31, 32, 33. So this is how we find the adjoint of a square matrix A. Now consider this is square matrix A. This is a 2 by 2 matrix. Let us find adjoint of A. So adjoint of A is nothing but a transpose of cofactor matrix A. So first I have to find the cofactor matrix. That means I have to find cofactor of every element. So cofactor of every element of this matrix A11. So cofactor of A11 will be A22 into minus 1 raised to the power 1 plus 1. Cofactor of, where A22 is nothing but minor of element A11. So you have to refer to my previous video to find out the method to how to find minors and cofactors. So cofactor of the element A12 is minus 1 raised to the power 1 plus 2 into minor of the element A12. Minor of the element A12 is A21. Then cofactor of the element A21 is equal to minus 1 raised to the power 2 plus 1 into minor of this element, and minor of this element is A12, and then cofactor of the element A22. The cofactor of this element is minus 1 raised to the power 2 plus 2 into minor of this element is A11. So I can see this will be plus 1, this is minus 1, this is minus 1, and this is plus 1 multiplied by these numbers. So to find adjoint A, I replace every element by its cofactors to get the matrix cofactor A. So A11 is A22, cofactor of this element is A22, cofactor of this element A12 is minus A21, and cofactor of this element A21 is minus A12, and cofactor of the element A22 will be equal to A11. So now I take its transpose. This is cofactor. Now I have to take the transpose to find the adjoint. So I read the row A22 and write it in a column. So minus A21 and minus A12 and plus A11. So now students, you have to observe here that it is very easy to directly write the cofactor, to directly write the adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix. See, we cannot write the adjoint of a 3 by 3 matrix directly, but I calculated the cofactors in front of you. I substituted them here, took the transpose of cofactor matrix, and I took the adjoint. And what is the observation? The observation is to find the adjoint of any 2 by 2 matrix, you are interchanging A11 and A22. You can see A11 has come here and A22 has come here. So the position of these two elements is interchanged in adjoint, and these two elements, their position is not interchanged but their signs are changed. You can see in adjoint A12 has become negative A12, A21 has become negative A21, and A22 and A11 they have changed their position. So we can learn this method trick and we can directly write the adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix. Now there are some theorems based on the result of adjoint of a matrix. Now the proof of these theorems is not to be done by you people. You have to memorize and understand these results, and you have to use these results in solving out the questions. First theorem is that if A is any given square matrix whose order is n, then A into adjoint A is equal to adjoint of A into A is equal to determinant of A into In, where In is the identity matrix of the same order as that of A. Okay. And next definition, a square matrix A is said to be singular if determinant of A is 0. So we have learned here a square matrix will be singular if its determinant will be 0. Next definition, a square matrix A is said to be non-singular if the determinant is non-zero. This was our next result. And what is theorem 2? Theorem 2 says if A and B are non-singular matrices of same order, then AB and BA are also non-singular matrices of same order. This is theorem 2. So if A and B are non-singular and they are of the same order, of course they are square matrices, then AB and BA are also non-singular matrices of same order. Next theorem is theorem 3. If A and B are square matrices of same order, then determinant of AB is same as determinant of A into determinant of B. We repeat that if A and B are square matrices of same order, then determinant of AB is equal to determinant of A into determinant of B, and this result is to be memorized by you well. Now there is another result which will be derived from the previous results that we have done. The result is determinant of adjoint A is equal to determinant of A into n minus 1. To prove this result, let us refer the previous theorem. Right now you have studied theorem 1. According to theorem 1, A into adjoint A is same as adjoint of A into A is equal to determinant of A into In. So let us use this result for the proof of this result, that adjoint of A's determinant is equal to determinant of A raised to the power n minus 1. So I have written the result that I got in theorem 1. So now students, you pay attention to this thing, that determinant of A is a number and In is a matrix. So you are multiplying this matrix, identity matrix, which is of the same order as matrix A, and you are multiplying this identity matrix with determinant of A. So identity matrix has got 1 times 1 in every row, and rest of the elements are 0. So if you multiply every element by determinant of A, so what will happen? So in rough you can see that you are going to get, suppose you are dealing with a 2 by 2 matrix, so you are going to get this type of position. If you are dealing with a 3 by 3 matrix, so you will have diagonal elements as determinant of A and rest of the elements will be 0. Let me show it for a 3 by 3 matrix. So let us see that what is going to happen if we multiply determinant of A with a 3 by 3 matrix for n is equal to 3. That means determinant of A into identity matrix of third order. So if we multiply this matrix by determinant of A, what we are going to get? We are going to get a matrix in which every element is multiplied by determinant of A. So now let us going to study what is the use of this result in our proof. So now let us, we were at this step and we had taken this step we have got by theorem 1. Now taking determinant both sides. So I get a determinant of A into adjoint of A is equal to determinant of determinant A into In. So let us understand this situation by taking the example of n to be 3. So let us consider this. I have already shown you the determinant of A into In for n is equal to 3. So it is going to be this matrix. So in your proof you are taking the determinant, whole determinant of A into In. So this is determinant of A into In. If I take its determinant, so it will become determinant of determinant A 0 0 0 determinant A 0 0 0 determinant A. So you get a determinant which is a third order determinant which is of this type. Now you already know by the properties of determinant that from every row you can take determinant A common. So you can take determinant A common from first row, from second row, from third row. That will give you determinant of A whole cube, and what will be left? You will be left with 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, that is determinant of a identity matrix which is of order 3 by 3. So now if you calculate this determinant, this is going to be 1. So we got this result, that determinant of A into in this particular case n is 3, is going to be determinant of A raised to the power n, that is 3. So let us apply this result here. So determinant of determinant A into In is going to be determinant A raised to the power n. So whatever order will this identity matrix have, this result will give you determinant A raised to that power, that order. N is the order of identity matrix also, n is the order of matrix A also. Now students, here to expand this, I am going to use the result of theorem 3. Theorem 3 says that determinant of AB is same as determinant of A into determinant of B. That means if you have product of two matrices and if you take the determinant, so you can distribute the sign of determinant over both the elements of the product. So here using the same result over here, determinant of A into adjoint A can be written as determinant of A into determinant of adjoint A. So I have used this result, determinant of AB is determinant A into determinant B, in writing this expression in this form. And how I wrote this like this, for this I have used this expansion, that how by taking the example of n to be 3, if first you multiply determinant A with a third order identity matrix, you got this matrix, you take its determinant common from all the 3 rows, and this determinant has got value 1. So you got determinant A raised to the power 3. So whatever is the order of identity matrix, this will give you the same result as determinant of A raised to the power that number. So the same result we used here. Okay. So now what we can do is, now determinant is a number. So I can write determinant of adjoint A is equal to determinant of A raised to the power n divided by determinant of A, which is nothing but determinant of A raised to the power n minus 1. So this is the established result that we are going to use in questions in MCQs. So determinant of adjoint A is equal to determinant of A raised to the power n minus 1. Student, this is going to be a very important result. Please do memorize this result. So for any doubts and for any queries, you can write in the description box. I am going to clarify your doubts also. And now we move to theorem 4. Theorem 4 says that a square matrix A is called invertible if and only if it is a non-singular matrix. Now students, let us recall our definition of singular and non-singular matrix. Right now we have discussed with you a matrix whose determinant comes out to be 0 is called a singular matrix, and a matrix whose determinant is non-zero is a non-singular matrix. So we are saying that a square matrix A is invertible. Invertible definition I have already explained in my previous videos, that a matrix is called invertible if its inverse exists. So this theorem means that the inverse of a square matrix A exists only if it is non-singular. Non-singular means that its determinant is non-zero. So you can take this as a necessary condition for the inverse of a matrix to exist, that a matrix will have a inverse if its determinant is non-zero. And what is its inverse? Inverse of a matrix, this is the sign of inverse. Inverse of a matrix is adjoint of the matrix A. So adjoint of A is going to be a matrix. So adjoint matrix of A divided by determinant of A. So adjoint A is a matrix obtained by taking the transpose of the cofactor matrix A. You find out adjoint matrix A and then you divide adjoint matrix A by the determinant of the matrix A. Now you can you know that determinant is a number. So that means you divide every element of adjoint A matrix by determinant A, and the matrix obtained in this manner will be the inverse of the given matrix A. Now we start exercise 4.5 and question number 2. Exercise 4.5 question 2, this question says that find adjoint of the given matrices. So first I have to find its cofactor matrix. Let me call this matrix as A. So I have to find cofactor of the matrix A. So now students, I first of all I would like to see that which elements are at odd positions, because you know cofactor is nothing but we write the minus with minus 1 raised to the power. So you let us recall the cofactor of the element Aij is equal to minus 1 raised to the power I plus j into Mij, where Mij is the minor of the element Aij. So minus 1 raised to the power I plus j means that whenever this I plus j is going to be an odd number, then you are going to change the sign of the minor to find the cofactor, and whenever I plus j is going to be an even number, then minor and cofactor will be same in that case. So let us see, this is position A11, 1 plus 1 2 even. So this element will have same minor as well as cofactor. This element is A12, 1 plus 2 is 3. So odd position. So its cofactor will be negative of its minor. This is even position. This is again 2 plus 1, this is A21, 2 plus 1 odd. So minor and cofactor will be negative of each other. A22, 2 plus 2 4, minor and cofactor will be same. Here minor and cofactor will be negative of each other, and here minor and cofactor will be negative of each other. So you can see for these circled elements, the minors and cofactors will be negative of each other, and for rest of the elements minor and cofactor will be same. So now by this time I should be able to write down the cofactors directly also. Well, should I do that? Okay. So let us find out the cofactor of the element 1. So to find the cofactor of 1, I know that minor and cofactor are going to be same. So I find the minor of 1. So I delete the row and the column in which 1 lies. I am left with these 4 elements. 3 into 1 is 3, minus 5 into 0 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. So I got that the cofactor of first element is 3. Now let me move to the next element, but it's a circled element, its position is 1 2, this is A12, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 is odd, so its cofactor will be negative of the minor. So I have already put a negative sign. So now I will write inside this bracket the minor of the element minus 1, which is lying at the position A12. So to find its minor, I neglect the column and the row in which minus 1 lies. So I am left with 2 5 minus 2 1. So 2 into 1 is 2 minus 10. 5 into 2 is minus 2 is minus 10. So 2 minus 10 means 2 plus 10 comes out to be 12. And then for 2 I find the minor, it is 0 plus 6, and then I move to this element. So I know its minors and cofactors are going to be negative of each other. So I put a negative sign outside this. I neglect the column and the row in which it lies. So it is minus 1 minus 0. So it is minus 1. For 3, that is the element lying at its position, minor and cofactor are same. So we neglect the row and the column. So we got 1 minus 4. So 1 plus 4, that is 5. For this element, they are going to be negative of each other. So we put a negative sign. We neglect the column and the row in which 5 lies. So we are left with 0 minus 2. So it's going to be minus 2. For this element with minus 2, I have to write here the cofactor of minus 2. So it's going to be same as minor, neglect the row in the column. So minus 5 minus 6, that is going to be minus 11. For this element, we are minors and cofactors are negative of each other. So we neglect the row and the column and we get. So we have completed the cofactors of every element. Let us solve it completely and we write the matrix obtained. So we got 3 minus 12, 6, 1, 5, 2, minus 11, minus 1 and 5. So now we have to write, this is the cofactor matrix obtained by replacing every element by its cofactor. Now I have to write the adjoint of the matrix A, and I have already explained you that adjoint of the matrix A is nothing but transpose of cofactor matrix. So to find the adjoint of matrix A, I take the transpose of this matrix, which is cofactor matrix. So I read any row and write it in the form of a column. We all know how to take the transpose. So this is 3 minus 12, 6, 1, 5, 2, minus 11, minus 1 and 5. So now students, we have learned how to calculate the adjoint of a square matrix. Now let us move to question 11. Question 11 says that you have to find the inverse of the matrices from question number 5 till question 11. So let us do question number 11. So this is the given matrix. Let us call it matrix A. So now let us recall the formula of inverse. Right now we have studied in the last theorem that A inverse is nothing but adjoint of A divided by determinant of A. So we have to again find the adjoint matrix and we also have to find the determinant of this matrix A. So first let me find the determinant of this matrix A. So students, we have also learned that inverse of this matrix exists only if it is non-singular. Non-singular means that its determinant is non-zero. So let me expand it using the first row. That gives me 1 into cos alpha, that is cos square alpha, minus sin alpha into sin alpha, that is sin square alpha. So now students, I again want to tell you that if you have any doubt in finding how to find the determinant of a matrix or how to find the minors and cofactors, then you can refer back to my 2 previous videos and the link will be there in the description box for all the previous videos on determinants and matrices. Now we know that cos square alpha minus sin square alpha will be cos 2 alpha. So we can see the determinant of A is cos 2 alpha here and it is non-zero. We assume that the values of alpha are such that it is non-zero because we have been asked to find the inverse of A. So now we have to find adjoint of A. To find the adjoint of A, we have to find the cofactor of A. To find the cofactor of A, let me find the cofactor of every element individually. So let me find cofactor of first element, that is A11, A12 and so on. Now I have explained you in my previous question that for this element I should not have circled it, by mistake I circled it, doesn't matter, I just erase it. So in my previous video I have explained you that this element, this one and this one, these 4 elements will have their minors and cofactors opposite in sign, that is negative of each other, and for rest all elements, that is for this and this, the minors and cofactors will be same. So let me find first the cofactor of the first element, which is 1. It is going to be, neglecting the row and the column, cos square alpha minus. So we are finding the cofactors of every element. Next cofactor A12, that is cofactor of 0. So it's going to be negative of, and we change the sign, neglecting the row and the column, 0 into cos alpha minus 0 into, so this is 0. Then the next cofactor and A13. So we got cofactors of every element by the method I have explained you. earlier. So now I write them in a matrix, and that matrix will be called cofactor A. So now I replaced every element by its cofactor, and this is how I got the cofactor matrix. Now I find its adjoint. I replaced, so I took transpose of cofactor matrix. This is the adjoint matrix. Now we find inverse. So we divide the adjoint matrix by determinant of the matrix A. We have already found the determinant of the matrix A is cos 2 alpha, and this was the adjoint A. So I divided, that means every element of this matrix is to be divided by cos 2 alpha, and that will be your inverse. Let us do question number 15 of exercise 4.5. So this question says that you are given a matrix A and you have to show that A cube minus 6A square plus 5A plus 11I is equal to 0 matrix. This is O, 0 matrix. So first we have to show that this matrix equation is true, and then hence using the above matrix equation we have to find the inverse of the matrix A. So now students, by now this will be the third method of finding the inverse of a matrix. The first method of finding the inverse you have learned by elementary operations, and the second method you have learned right now, that was adjoint of A divided by determinant of A, and this is the third method of finding the inverse of a matrix that we are going to learn in this question. So let us first find out the values of A square and A cube. A square means we multiply A with A, and A cube means we multiply A square with A. So let's find them. I have written matrix A with A. Now I multiply them using the method of multiplication. So now I have multiplied these two matrices. I got A square. This is the value of A square. Now I have to find A cube. For that I will multiply the value of A square with A, and I get the value of A cube. This is the value of A cube. We substitute it in the given equation. To verify the given equation, I write this given matrix equation. I substituted the value of A cube, value of A square, 5 times A, the value of A, 11I, 11 times the identity matrix, and when I calculated this using the matrix addition and subtraction and multiplication of a matrix by a scalar, I used all these operations, I obtained a 0 matrix. So we have verified this equation. Now students, we are going to find out the inverse of A using this matrix equation. We are finding the inverse of matrix A. So I have written this equation, and now I post multiply this matrix equation by A inverse. Now here students, you have to be very careful that you cannot just multiply A inverse either in the beginning or in the end. Either you multiply all the terms of this equation in the end by A inverse, or you multiply them in the beginning. That means either you post multiply all the terms or you pre-multiply all the terms, because you know that matrix multiplication is not commutative. So you have to take care of this fact, and now you can see that we have to use the fact that A inverse is equal to I. We also know that A inverse of A, we also know that A inverse into A is also I. So we shall be going to make use of these two equations here. So A cube means A square into A inverse. A inverse becomes I. A square means A into A inverse. A into A into A inverse. So A and A inverse becomes I. Here A inverse becomes I, and any matrix A inverse multiplied with I remains A inverse. 0 matrix multiplied to A inverse remains A inverse. Now any matrix multiplied to I will remain same. 6AI is 6A, 5I will be 5I, 11A inverse will be 11A inverse. Now I can take all these terms, this one and this one on right hand side. So I got 11A inverse is minus A square plus 6A minus 5I, and I get to know that the value of A inverse will be 1 by 11 into minus A square plus 6A minus 5I. So let us substitute the values of all these matrices here. So we get minus A square. So change the sign of every element of the matrix A square. So now I get to know that A inverse is 1 by 11. I can divide the right hand side by 11 to get the value of A inverse. So this is 1 by 11 minus A square plus 6A minus 5I. Now students, we already know what is A square. So I substituted the value of A square, I substituted the value of A and I. I did all these operations, the indicated operations, and 1 by 11, I got this matrix, and this is nothing but A inverse. So this was all about the adjoint and inverse for this class, and I will be discussing the rest of the MCQs of this exercise in the next class. So students, if you have any problem, you can ask me ask me your difficulties and write them in the description box, and please don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video.